Hello, I'm Mrs. Ritchie, and quite a few months ago, we had a manners class together, and I thought it might be fun to send you a quick video clip on just a few tips and a refresher class. So to get started, I thought I would cover social skills, and if you remember, we talked a lot about handshakes and the importance of a good, powerful, firm handshakes. And remember, you always use your right hand, and remember to always stand for a handshake. So when you're giving a handshake, it's very important that you make web-to-web contact. Remember that? And you shake 2 times. So always practice. You can practice with your parents or your friends, but always initiate a handshake, whether you're shaking with a lady or whether you're shaking with a man. Also, remember we talked a lot about eye contact, and it's very, very important to have eye contact. So eye contact is just looking someone directly in the eye when you're speaking with them. This is very important because it shows that you're confident and that you're listening. And always remember to put your cell phones aside during the dinner time or when you're spending time with someone. Make sure that you're fully present with them and paying attention to what they're saying. Also, I thought I would include a few dining tips for you. Remember, we practiced American style and European style, and some of you liked American, some of you really liked European, you felt that it was much easier. So I'm going to go over that for you as well, and then how to set the table. How many of you are setting the table every night with your family? I hope so. So here's a few things and tips you need to remember when you're having dinner. So now we're going to set the table together. So we're going to start with our dinner plate. Of course, it goes in the center. Our dinner fork, and this is just a simple table setting that you would use to have a family dinner together. So we're going to set our fork, and it goes on the left side. And remember our dinner knife, and the blade faces toward the plate. And then we have our spoon, and it goes on the right side. And then sometimes during a casual dinner we might have a bread plate, but just for memory purposes today, I'm going to set the bread plate. And remember that goes on the left side above the fork. And then we have our glass for lemonade or iced tea or Sprite. And then our napkin goes on the left side. So I'm sure you remember what I taught you about BMW. Whenever you sit down to a nice dinner and you have the bread plate in the water and you can't remember, where's my bread plate, or is this my water? Here's the way you remember it. BMW, bread, meal, water, BMW. So to get into your seat, always start with your left tip. Put your left tip into the chair. Swing your right leg around, and the first thing that you want to do is put the napkin in your lap. So remember, we unfold the napkin underneath the table, and the fold of the napkin goes toward your lap. And if you remember, the reason we do that, it gives you the chance to pick up the corner of the napkin and wipe your mouth after every few bites. So we're going to pretend that we have pounded chicken, some mashed potatoes, and green beans. So I'm going to teach you right-handed. I'm right-handed. So for those of you that might be left-handed, you just do the opposite. But I'm going to start with American-style dining. So remember how I taught you to cut? You put the fork in your left hand, the knife in your right hand, and you balance it on your index finger. You lightly grasp, and you turn them over, and you cut your chicken. The knife goes at the top of the plate. The blade always faces towards you. You switch hands. The left hand goes in your lap, and you hold the fork like a pencil. And then you continue to eat. Now, when you're having chicken, you cut one bite-sized piece of chicken at a time. Switch hands. Hold it like a pencil. Index fingers on top. Your thumb is on top. And that's the correct way to hold a fork. Now, just to eat, if you just want to taste your mashed potatoes, you use the tines of the fork and you just scoop up your mashed potatoes. And remember, you have to cut your green beans too. They're very long, so you can cut those in one piece at a time. Use your fork, use the tines of the fork to eat the green beans. Now, for European style dining, we start cutting the same way. The knife is balanced on your right hand, the right index finger. The fork is on the left index finger. You lightly grasp, you turn over, and you cut a bite. And if you need to, on the back side of your bite of chicken, you can use the knife as a pusher to push the potatoes up on the back side of your tines. Now, unlike American style, we do not put the knife at the top of the plate. So we have our bite on the fork, the back tines of the fork, and the fork goes upside down into your mouth, like this. And your wrists stay above the table. So you continue to cut your chicken. You might want a little mashed potatoes in the back. You use the knife as the pusher. It goes down into your mouth. Now, if you need to use your napkin or you want to take a sip of your lemonade, this is the resting position for European style. So I would use my napkin, again, just the corners of the napkin. It goes back in my lap. Then you continue on with your eating. So this is resting position. Now, it also gives you a chance to take a sip of your lemonade, and you'll notice that my wrists stay above the table for European style. Now, when you're finished, this is the I'm finished position for both European and American. The knife is at the top, the fork is below, and remember, if you look at a clock, this will be the 10:20 position on the clock. Now let's go back a second and I want to tell you one more thing about American style. For American style, remember, our knife is at the top of the plate. The left hand stays in the lap. This is the resting position for American style. Again, this gives me a chance to use the napkin, and it gives me a chance to sip my lemonade. And you'll notice my left hand is in my lap. We do not want to hug our meal when we're eating. We don't want to lean when we're eating. And we want to make sure that we chew with our mouths closed. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please email me or call me if you have any questions. Now, go out and enjoy your dinner and use your manners.